Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Brandon Town Council meeting for June 2024.
Can I just stop there, because we haven't got any lights.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Sorry.
Well, as long as we pay the electric bill.
Wow.
Showing in the
There we are.
Thank you, Doctor.
Right.
Yeah, so Brandon Town Council meeting, June 2024. Welcome, everybody. Can we just do the housekeeping before we start? There is no fire alarm planned for this evening, so if the alarm does sound, it's to leave via the stairs. Please do not use the lift. We have the facility to get you downstairs manually, and we all meet out the front. And any mobile phones, could they please be turned off? Item 1 on the agenda is apologies. We have apologies from our chairman, Phil Whittam, hence the reason I'm in the chair tonight, first time, so please be gentle. From Councillor Pinnell and from Councillor Claire Watts. Everybody has been reminded to sign the declaration of interest and additions to the members' registers of interest. Item number 3 is to receive a report from Squadron Leader Adam Eaton, who's our new representative from RAF Lakenheath. Adam, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you very much indeed. I'll keep it short to the point. My main reason for being here is so that you know what I look like, and to say I've been in the job for 3 weeks, so I really don't know what the hell I'm doing. So you can ask me what you like, but I won't be able to answer it. A bit of background, and the lady on my right will never speak to me when I say this ever again. My military career started in the army. My regular service was in the army. I did that for a long period of time. Left, and I worked for Aviva Norwich Union as it was. And then I've managed to end up in the RAF. I'm not quite sure how, but I have. And here I am. So I've lived in Suffolk for over 30 years. I've even been a parish councillor, so I do understand to some degree the sort of issues that you have to deal with. I will help you if I can. You've got my email address. All you need to do is drop me a line. The only thing to note really that's going on there at the moment, well, 2 things. The first is that all 4 fighter squadrons are now back in residence, one having been forward deployed for a while. And the second is that there is a change of command next week when Brigadier General Campo leaves. He will be replaced by Brigadier General Archibald, who's coming in from Germany. So effectively doing a swap over. And life will continue as is. Have you got any questions for me?
Anybody? Councillor Kelly?
No, thank you, Mr. Chair. Thanks for that presentation, Squadron Leader. And it's interesting to know that you were once parish councillor or town councillor. I would like to remind you that we have got some vacancies on the council. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Does anybody else, any members of the public have any questions for the Squadron Leader? You can see we're quite a pleasant bunch.
Brilliant.
And we give you an easy ride to begin with. All the time, actually.
All right.
Thank
I'll leave
you.
you to it. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Item number 4 is to receive, confirm and sign the minutes of the full council meeting of Monday the 13th of May. We need a proposer and a seconder for this, please. Proposed, Councillor Siebert, seconded by Councillor Hughes. And can we
There's
take
an error.
can we do we vote first or do we? I don't know. What's the error, Peter?
Page 674. A voting took place for Councillor Egerton to be Vice Chair. Proposer, Paul Krabs, seconder, Dave Palmer. The resolution failed. It says here failed 4-4, that's the figure 4, and then the word 4, and then 2 against. 6 abstentions, 1 councillor did not vote. That should be round the other way. 4 failed, voted not to have Councillor Egerton, and 2 for Councillor Egerton to be Vice Chair. You got it round the wrong way. I did telephone the office to mention this.
For whatever reason, Donna didn't
Okay.
change it, Donna, to, I can't remember the reason Donna said, but I understand that it is correct how it's been done.
Okay, the acting clerk is saying it's reported correctly. It may, I think it's because it failed, Peter. Is that why it's that way round?
She did check it, I'll check it with her again tomorrow.
Well,
I'm
if
not
you
sure.
look at page 673 regarding the election of chairman, it says there, failed 3 for, 4 against, 3 abstentions, 3 councillors did not vote. So one of those is right, but I say it's regarding Councillor Everington, the vice chair. I still say it should be 2 voted for Councillor Everington and 4 voted against Councillor Everington to be vice chair.
I don't think that's.
I think possibly what may have happened there was there a vote taken on both times for both positions. So in the election for the vice chair, there was 7 for myself and 2 against, with 2 abstentions. And then for Councillor Everington, 4 people actually voted for her, with 2 against. Is that what you're saying, Pete?
No, it ran the other way, isn't it?
2 voted.
2 voted for
There was more than
the
2
councillor.
voted.
No,
There is 3.
There was 4.
2 against and the rest abstained.
Yeah. 4 voted for her, 2
And one
voted
never voted
against.
at all.
So then it didn't fail then, did it?
It failed in the situation of A versus B. I think that's how that's been recorded there.
That's how I'm reading it.
Is that how everybody else is reading
Yeah,
it?
I think we're all happy with the vice chair, Chair.
Oh no, I'm happy with Gary being vice chair, don't get me wrong. No, I'm just saying, if we're going to have these minutes right, and that's what we're voting for,
Well, if that's the case, but if you look at it, Pete, it carried for myself. There was 7 voted for me.
yes.
I didn't vote at all. That would have only have left 6 further votes. So if it would have been a straight A versus B, but I think what we did is there was a complete vote on the table for myself, and then there was a complete vote for Councillor Everington.
That's right.
There's 2 separate motions, weren't there?
Yes, 2 separate, and I'm only on about the one regarding Penny Everton. I still say it should read 2 against, 4 for.
But that wasn't the vote.
Could we, just to clear this matter up then, could we just around the table, if everybody can remember, who voted for Penny, please, just quickly? Does it matter?
No, it
Doesn't
doesn't
matter.
It's
Okay.
clear how it's recorded, and
Right.
Donna did check it. It's
And it's
recorded
checked as
correctly,
being
yeah.
correct. Okay. It has been queried, Peter, and recorded as correct there. Is there any other issues with the minutes, please? No. So we have a proposal and a second, and can we take a vote to confirm that those minutes are correct, please? Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Are you, Paul? Ben? And against? And abstaining. We've got 1 abstention and 8. Matters arising from those minutes. I think we've just covered that, have we?
Well,
Yes.
well, I'm going to say this. I don't think people are going to like what I'm going to say. But I've been over 40 odd years coming to Brandon Council meetings. 4 of those years I was a district councillor, for which I went to 1,000 meetings in those 4 years. And of all the meetings I've been to, the beginning of last month's council meeting, I think was disgusting. I really do. How it was done. When I got this paper on Wednesday and read it, actually in print, half the councillors on the proposals for the chair and vice chair did not vote. I know it's a free country and people are entitled to do whatever they wanted to do. But this was the annual meeting. What must the public think? We've got more public this month than what we did last month. And that was the yearly meeting. What does that send out to the people of Brandon? How it was? I don't know regarding the television type thing, but there must be quite a few thousand people that must look into this council meeting that we have on the second Monday of every month. But as I say, I think it was deplorable. I really do. I don't know whether any other councillor agrees with us or not, but I mean, Victor goes to a lot of meetings, you yourself go to meetings. But last month's beginning of the meeting, as I've said, I've been to a few thousand council meetings, and I've been to different ones, local, all around here, and last month's was the worst one. The beginning was the worst
Are you
one.
commenting there, Peter, on how the voting went?
No. I state in the fact that half the councillors didn't vote on the important issue of having the chairman and the vice chair. If they don't think, as I say, people can vote how they want, but if they don't think to vote for the chair and the vice chair that's been doing a good job for the last 52 weeks, and then don't want to vote for those people.
But that is perfectly within their rights
Yes,
to do
that's
that.
right, yes, but how it was, I think, no.
Yeah. Well, points noted there, Councillor Ridgewell. Is there anybody else have any matters arising from those minutes? Okay, so we can sign those off. Urgent business. Councillor Whittam hasn't reported anything to myself. Nobody's been in touch with me over the weekend, and at tea time tonight nobody's been to the office. So there is no urgent business there to be considered. We have the town clerk's report. It's in your pack. Can we take that as everybody has read? Councillor Buchanan?
Thank you. Just the one question for the acting clerk there. Jackie, in your report you mentioned that we have now received from West Suffolk money regarding the decarbonisation fund. I haven't seen any figures in the accounts that we've received money from them, but I have seen an outgoing payment of a measly £27. If you could just tell us what that £27 was.
I will tell you, because I know that, but in an ideal world it would be better if you'd asked when we were in the office so we could look it up. But I do know that we were paid last month and they overpaid us by £27. So in the last month's figures there will be the decarbonisation fund payment, but they overpaid us by £27, which we had to return.
So the payment they have made to us are in last month's figures, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Jackie. That's explained it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Also within the town clerk's report, and also from myself and Councillor Whittam, there's the first paragraph I'll just read for you. We have received resignations from two of our councillors, Penny Evans and Bob Brads. We wish them both well. All the relevant notices have been issued. From a personal point, I'd just like to say thank you to them for all the years that they've put into Brandon Town Council. Sorry to see them go, but hopefully it won't affect council too much, and we can all continue to try and do our best for the town. Item number 8 is the public forum. Monthly event limited to 3 minutes duration, which will also include county, district, town councillors and community group reports. So if we can run through county first, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure many of us have noticed that we've had a stretch of the Thetford Road resurfaced, so I've managed to get that done. We've also had a stretch of George Street resurfaced, and I noticed they've also marked Colton Lane out, and they'll be, regretfully, they'll only be patching that and not resurfacing the whole thing, but at least it'll be respectable. But if anybody says that, oh, our roads are worse than other places in the district, that's not true. If you go to Bury St Edmunds and drive up Station Hill, which most of us do when we're off to the hospital, right, that road is absolutely atrocious. So for the road surfaces, for the amount of trucks and vehicles what come through Brandon, we do pretty well. But I will continue to badger away at the engineers to try and get the work done. If I may, Chairman, I would like just to go into my district report.
Thank you.
There's plans for a new recycling system, a new recycling scheme that'll be kicked in 2026. That's government guidance. That's not statutory, but it's guidance from the government. It looks like you'll be getting 2 extra small bins. One will be for your waste food and one will be for your glass. So you'll have the minimum of 4 bins around the house. If you include the brown bin with the grass in, that'll be 5 bins. The one for the glass they will collect on a weekly basis. The one for the waste food they will collect on a weekly basis. However, I don't know how you will look at the next issue, is the fact that your grey bin or black bin or general waste bin, whatever you like to call it, that'll be collected once every 3 weeks. I think we'll have another discussion about this. We've got time, so I'll leave you with that. I'll answer your question.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, will that impact, them removing the glass disposal containers?
Yeah.
If they're going to leave it to us to...
That's a good point. That will eliminate the bottle banks and the recycling centres. So there's a downside to that. And do let me know. Do let the office know what your views are on that. If you're not happy, tell them it's not happy, because that has not been decided on at West Suffolk as yet. So it's a good point, Councillor Savage. I've got some good news for the shopkeepers. At district level, I managed to get a permit scheme in place for the shopkeepers, because the last several years they have complained that they've had to drive around the town in the morning trying to find, they've been late for work, they've missed customers and things like that. And that is a permit for shopkeepers only on the Berry Road car park. And they can get a permit for 13 weeks, 26 weeks or 52 weeks. And so far, that's been pretty well received by the shopkeepers. Thank you, Mr Chairman. That concludes my 2 reports.
Thank you, Councillor Canuck. Jules, I noticed you was you covered with your question there?
Yeah. Did you not hear me, Gary?
Yeah, no, I thought you put your hand up again. Henry.
Yeah, just one question. How big are these containers?
That's what I was
Yeah,
going to ask.
the food, they describe them as caddies. So I have seen one, they're about that high, they're about that wide. And whether they're enough for all your bottles of wine or bottles of champagne, I don't know, but they will collect them every day. Basically what's happened is...
Every day?
Every week.
Every week.
Basically what's happened is West Suffolk Council, they want us to do the recycling. They don't want to get that grey bin, black bin, general waste bin, whatever you like. They don't want to go through that. They want us to recycle it. I've questioned the wisdom of the policy, because what about these high density areas, high density flats, when there's 4, maybe 5 bins or 4 bins per each household? And I've been told that, well, we can supply sacks, plastic sacks for these high density places. Well, I can remember 20, 30 years ago, because the mind does go back that far, that when they introduced the plastic wheelie bins, that was because we didn't want the sacks on the street. Can you remember that?
Yeah, they used to
So-
get ripped open and
That's
made
right.
right.
That's right. The urban fox would get in there, wouldn't they? You know. So it's an opportunity for you people to relay your message. And if it's okay, Jackie, you take messages from the public on this one.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, if it's going to impact and they're going to remove the glass disposal banks, then the forest is going to be littered with glass.
I think you're absolutely right there, Councillor Savage. That will encourage flighting.
Absolutely.
Okay, Councillor Ridgewell, is this in response to Victor's?
Yeah, the local villages with their bottle banks, they get a bit of money for their...
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, our council tax should go down.
2 things, please. Pete.
You know, so Sandown and Wheaton, etc., they're all going to lose their bits of money. And with the Remembrance Pinefield, with the bottle banks there,
Would you, Chairman, would you like the portfolio holder to come to Brandon Town Council and give us a presentation.
I would
Yes.
say there is some
Yes.
line.
Yes.
It'd be good with that.
I will try and persuade the portfolio holder to come and talk to you next month. I can't promise, but I will try. And
Okay.
then you can badger him with the questions.
Nikki?
We had this system when I lived in Italy, and it worked perfectly.
It works perfectly.
When we had, it took a little bit of getting used to, but when I lived in Italy, that's all we had, was 5 pence. And you just got used to putting them out on different days, and that worked for us.
I think the glass in the blue bin, it's because it's a nationwide initiative to make every dry recyclable, which is our blue, compatible across the UK. So you could go anywhere and whatever we would put in the blue bin will be put in the blue bin elsewhere in the UK. I believe that's why it's being done, but they just don't want glass in the blue.
So what colours are
On
these
the other
bins
side
going to
of the
be?
level crossing, you can put glass in the recycling bin because the Norfolk have machinery
Norfolk,
to sort out
Yes.
the glass.
Well,
How it's done, I don't know,
Mm.
but they do. But Suffolk, just across the railway line where we are now, we haven't got that expertise to separate glass.
Obviously dealt with at a different depot, and if we want them to spend the money and put that equipment in, we know who's paying for it. Can we move on? Jules, do you have a district report?
No. I
Um,
think
any
Victor.
councillors or community groups? I know David, thank you.
Right. This coming Friday at the Church Institute, we're having a meeting which used to be run by a group called FOBS, which is Friends of Brandon Station. Okay. There's delegates coming down from Save British Heritage, Historic England, Breckland District Council, West Suffolk Council, Greater Anglia, Railway Heritage Trust, and Historic Suffolk and Historic Norfolk, right? And they're all getting together for one common thing, and that is to fully restore and bring back to its former beauty the railway station. Okay, that is their still. That's not to do away with it. That's to get together, find a way forward for funding and restoration. All these people are working with one common end. Okay. Okay. And there's some of these people there are bringing up to 3 people with them as well. Okay. We're expecting slideshows, PowerPoint presentations, etc. there. It's advertised in our town council. This is 100% non-political. There's no political person involved at all. No former MPs or prospective MPs involved at all. Okay? That's just been run by one Brandon Town councillor. What I would like to do, I'd like all of you to come. Okay, and I also would like some volunteers. I want about 6 volunteers to help me on the day with welcoming the delegates that are coming, showing them where to sit, to talk to them. I need somebody picked up from the station. There's a lady coming from York, would you believe, on the day as well. Another one from London, who picked up at the station, and things like that. So I could do with a few people just to help out on the day. I've got some, but I need some more. So that's this Friday, Church Institute at 10:30. So you're all welcome.
Morning.
Morning,
not in the evening. No.
Well, you can never tell.
David, I'm happy to.
Pardon?
I'm happy to.
You have, thank you very much. Very
That
good.
does include the public, it's on social media. If anybody can share it with their friends. We really need to, I've spoken with David, we really need to get a big turnout on this, because if we have all these people coming and no locals turn up, are they really going to think we want to keep this thing and get it done?
I can volunteer though if you want.
So there's been a lot of work done.
If these people come from all this way, and just to shake their hand and talk to them, because they all have to, we're looking at chairs at the front, so they can all sit there. We're having a word with Jesse Coburn in the next couple of days to get the PowerPoint presentation already set up, everything like that in the same system. We're going to extend the hours because the person who originally organised it never left enough time for doing the whole thing. I didn't know until Friday who was coming. Okay, but I've talked to them all.
Yeah. Busy weekend there, David.
Well, that's not a problem. That's, you know, if I'm organised anything, I look a month's notice, not 10 days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anybody can help me out on the day. If you could be there for about 9:30, that'd be great.
Depending on my drone delivery,
Yeah.
but these places.
But you know, anybody can come. Yeah, just come. Okay.
Anything else from community groups around the table or councillors, please?
No,
You
Paul,
go,
no, you
no,
go.
go.
No, you go.
Just one question. Will a police representative come to this meeting again ever?
We have had some notification. I've seen a couple, haven't we? It's just it's his shifts that he's working are really difficult.
Gary's coming as well.
Just like most of the things that he spoke about last time are still occurring. I mean, the jumping the lights, the antisocial behaviour, another fight last weekend on the marketplace, mass brawl. You know, it's just, it's up to me to keep phoning him, or you know.
Maybe drop him an email, Henry, for us. I can do the same.
Please,
Peter, did you?
But that, what you've just said, is in every town.
Yeah.
It is. It's not just Brandon.
Oh,
It's
no.
not just Brandon, you know. And, but no, I'm just going to sort of say, we don't have the advertising materials now, do we? No Brandon Live, no Thetford and Brandon newspaper. We only have the small coloured magazine that comes out every month. And I look forward to that. And there was a nice article by Councillor Victor here. Nice article by our new councillor, Malcolm Pennell, regarding Gallipoli, 1915, First World War. Very interesting article. And a very interesting article with the cat person. What was it? Rita Thompson.
Yes.
If anybody read the coloured magazine, nice little article about a poor little kitten being found in a field, etc. If she's listening, I hope she writes part 2, so we know how the little kitten got on, etc. But that is the only advertising we've got that goes round. 2 councillors, and there was a nice article regarding Dave Palmer in the coloured magazine. You know, so it's a shame that, you know, if it wasn't for 2 councillors and the cat lady, there's no information about what is going on in Brandon.
Yeah. It's one of my projects, and unfortunately where it is at the moment with 20 printed pages, it's 20 pages because that's what the advertising pays for.
Oh yes, I know the advertising
so-
pays for it, but Thetford do a lovely magazine, roughly 50 pages, and I was over at Munford last week, and they've got one with 46 pages, lots of articles about what is going on. This is what I'm trying to say. We haven't got anything that tells us what is going on. Dave has now told us we've got this important meeting regarding our heritage, the railway station, which I'm a railway person, you know, and, you know, what it's saying, etc. But we've only got a few days now to inform Brandon people.
Yeah. On that point though, Peter, and I think David would agree with me, because we had the phone conversation at the end of last week, you would have not made any paper publication other than a daily, maybe the EDP or...
No, we had time to get it into our website.
Yeah.
Okay, and going forward.
But it is difficult. Point taken, Peter. Members of the public, this is your opportunity to speak. Lady at the back, and I'm going to say Sue Smith.
That's right.
Right, sorry, Sue.
Following on from the glass thing and taking money away from community groups that they used to get a little bit of income from the glass banks, there was another issue. A couple of months ago, our West Suffolk councillors were telling us how well West Suffolk was going to do this year with the grounds maintenance of the grass verges, etc., etc. What they didn't tell us was that they're taking away some of the play areas. So obviously they're taking away the maintenance of the play areas to pay for reverting back to the grass cutting that they used to do. However, we're now growing agricultural crops in our grass verges. Since when was that okay? It's a disgrace. If you go up to the paddocks and where I live on the Persimmon estate, it's an absolute disgrace. We've got agricultural crops growing, and in, I think it's item 21, Councillor Mechanic seems to think that weeds only grow in the high street. What about the rest of it? Brandon isn't just the high street. We've got to address the whole of Brandon, and something has got to be done about tidying up the whole town. It's a disgrace. I live in an area where we don't have a tarmac road. We have a block paving road. The weeds in the block paving are knee high.
Yeah. District councillors, any response?
Well, I mean, I can sympathise. Gashouse Lane is a mess, but I think primarily
It's not
to.
just Gashouse Lane, it's...
I know, but Gashouse Lane, what you're getting, respectfully, not everybody, but they think they've got a God-given right to put all their waste and everything over the walls.
Yeah.
And so the whole lane now has been encompassed by whatever they throw over.
Well, because the grass verges are not being cut, we're just leaving them to run riot with, well, horrendous weeds. That has a knock-on effect to everything else. All around the paddocks area and where I live, in the Persimmon estate, people just use the grass verges for car parks. If West Suffolk Council doesn't want the grass verges, sell them off to householders. It will generate a little bit of income, and you won't have to, and then you can concentrate on doing the work you need to be doing on the rest of Brandon. That's a suggestion, and that needs to be taken back to officers.
Thank you. I'm sure that they will, Victor.
Thank you. I spent several hours last week ringing up the highways and ringing up West Suffolk. I'm aware of the issues. It doesn't help when West Suffolk voted against using weed killer. Suffolk County Council are now back using it sparingly.
Well, we need some round where I live.
Well, okay. And I spoke to the engineer, and he said to me, we came out in April and sprayed them April the 1st, and they're coming out in July the 1st. Well,
Only select
know.
areas.
Could you let the excuse me? Could you let him
I can
respond?
only tell you what he told me. If you allow me to finish, you'll get an explanation. He told me they came out in April the 1st, and they didn't come out April the 1st because that was a blatant lie. He also told councillors from Mildenhall that they came out April the 1st. Well, there's no way they would have done those two towns in one day. So that was fiction.
Thank you.
I've spent several hours, and I will continue, and I'm trying to get West Suffolk Council to put a motion to Cabinet to reintroduce weed killer. That's what the problem is.
But we need proper grass cutting as well, because...
I must admit, I will agree with you, madam, or Mrs. Smith, or Susan Smith. I will agree with you that it's been patchy in Brandon. There's places on the Berry Road they've missed. There's places on Berry Road flats they've missed. Yet some places have been done. I will chase them. I sent them an email this afternoon. I knew what was coming tonight. I'm not daft. I knew what was coming. I've told them they need to up their game a bit.
Exactly.
Well, I've taken pictures today, and I will send them through to the office tomorrow to forward on to you. I've spent 17 years trying to get the weeds under the control where I live. However, I can't do it anymore, and somebody else needs to come and take it over.
Yeah, the cutting is in a bit of a mess. We've been I think everybody's been expecting them. We looked at the cutting schedules, and they don't seem to have been adhered to. So that is something that we can take up with them.
Can I have a comment on the removal of play areas?
Yes, certainly.
Over to the West Suffolk councillors.
The play
Carry on.
areas.
I'm not aware that play areas have been taken away. If you can give me the names of the play areas.
Well, the swings in the play area near where I live have been were removed 4 years ago and have never appeared again since. But I don't know all the areas that have been taken away.
Okay.
They're certainly taken away the Tea Walk Okay.
I think there's common consensus here tonight. We're not happy with the ground maintenance.
No.
And I will relay that message once again this week. And it's a constant battle, and you'll get all sorts of excuses. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, Paul.
Yeah, I spoke to West Suffolk regarding that play area outside your property, because I've got 2 grandchildren who like to use the swings, and he said they'd had a report on them and they are no longer suitable.
The frame is wrong, apparently.
Yeah, but they didn't have the finances to keep both of those play areas up and running, and he asked for my comments, and I said, my comment was, as a person rather than a town councillor, I would like to see the one outside your property replaced, because it's right behind mine. But yeah, they did say that they couldn't keep both running. It would be one or the other.
But if they take it away, it will just end up as being a giant dog's toilet or a car park.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay, we'll get that followed up. Any other members of the public, please? Annette?
Yes, good evening, everyone. When it comes to voting, for your vice chairman and your chairman, it's the most important vote that councillors should make around this table. I personally do not think abstentions and councillors not voting is good enough. You either support the people that are there or you don't. It's the most important time of the year, and councillors need to support whoever is elected. It is very wrong to have abstentions, especially when there's no information of why. Because it leaves us now to think, well, why are they abstaining? Why are they not voting? You can only draw conclusions from that. And it sort of says to me, are you frightened to actually say what you think? Are you frightened of repercussions if you don't vote the right way? Because that's what leads to us to believe. So please, when it comes to the most important things, like voting your chair or vice chair, please, you've had enough time to think about it, and please vote correctly. I agree with Peter here, it's the first time I've ever seen this happen, and it's wrong. Because how does your chair or vice chair feel when it comes to voting for something important? You really need to think about it, what you're doing. It doesn't instill any confidence. You're just voting and not voting for things. Well, what's going on? It's not right. But I also want to point out something else. And this is to do with your new councillor, who unfortunately was not here at the last council meeting, but was at the previous. When Councillor Ridgenow was talking about the accounts, which is correct, he should be, because this is the only time we get to see them, is when they come here. He turned around and said in front of several councillors, and I heard him as well, turn around and say, I don't care because I don't understand it. How does that instill any confidence? Because it doesn't. So, thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Annette. Is there anybody else in the public would like to?
Yes.
Thank you, Sue.
Yeah. I'd like to ask you a question, please, Mr. Chairman. So, I'd like to say that I was looking at the accounts, and I saw on the 26th of April that you claimed mileage of £49.50. Now, when I looked, there was no resolution for you to actually claim any mileage, and it doesn't actually say why would you need mileage as a councillor? Did you go to a particular event? I mean, as I say, there was no resolution as to why you should claim mileage for any particular event. I presume it was for council business.
It was, yes. It was. I attended an event in Lowestoft Carlton Colville, on behalf of Brandon Town Council and more specifically the town chairman, who was double booked that day, and Councillor Savage and myself attended. On our return, or a few days later, I asked in the office if expenses wasn't allowable, gave the recorded mileage, and left that then for the acting clerk to check the situation. Do you know anything there, Jackie?
I don't.
Further than that, then, I can't answer. All I can say is I'm going to presume that Donna checked with Salk that it was an allowable expense representing the council. It was the chairman of Suffolk County Council's not retirement, but end of tenure, and there was a chairman from every town council virtually in Suffolk that went, which is why we attended. Does that answer, or do you need any further from the office?
No, that's fine.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else, please?
Yeah, I've got something.
Thank you, Wayne.
As you know, I was at the planning meeting. I was at the planning meeting on Monday. That was not core, I believe is the word. There's not enough people there. Can I ask you, Councillor Brocklehurst, you were not on the table, so have you resigned from the planning committee?
I stepped down from the planning committee at the last council planning meeting, and then when the new committee was formed, my name wasn't on there, but since then that particular committee needs more members, which they've realised, and I've been asked if I would stand on there, and it is on the agenda for later this evening.
So, did you resign?
Yes.
You did resign?
I resigned at that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. At the AGM, this is not popular you, Councillor, this is, at the AGM, 2 councillors resigned. And then on leaving, and I see that's been minutes, that they said subject to you receiving it in writing, but as it's minuted, it was said you've resigned, get it in the minutes, because you're resigned by you, I believe, Councillor Canning. In that same meeting, you, Councillor Brocklehurst, were voted in as Vice Chair, which you refused. Again, it's in the minutes. And in my view, you were browbeaten into taking that position. You were adamant that you weren't going to take it, which comes down to the voting and the actions of this council. In Monday's planning meeting, going again to electing, it seemed to me that for whatever reason, efforts were being made to circumvent, and this is why I wanted to know if you'd resigned, to circumvent procedure and get you back on the council without a vote, and back on the planning committee. I don't know if I read that wrong, but you were clearly sitting with us, and there was clearly issue with not being able to put you straight back onto the planning committee. As people have said in here, and I certainly can't ignore the elephant in the room, there seems to be some serious double standards in Brandon Town Council. At the end of the day, when Mr Nolan, ex-councillor Nolan, resigned, during that co-option, the lady sitting behind me put herself forward for that co-option, and she was pretty much rubbished and brushed off on the basis that she'd previously resigned from this council. So it seems to me if you resign, you've resigned. It seems there's a bit of a two-tier council going on here at the minute, and there's stuff going on behind the scenes that I believe is 100% wrong. If the lady behind me can't co-opt because she's resigned, and the two councillors that left were immediately gone, regardless of whether they write in. They're off and get it in the minutes. I don't understand what the interest is with forcing you to take a position that firstly you didn't want, and the second position that you'd resigned from. And that's not a direct pop at you. This is the council. But on that basis, the planning committee, I have very little confidence in, and I don't know if this is right, if it's protocol. But is there anyone that can a resolution or a standing order, whatever you call them, to see that the planning meetings from now on are recorded and live streamed, so that everybody can see what goes on in those meetings, so it's recorded and we can look back on them?
Sure, they are.
Oh, they are recorded. In answer,
Live streamed.
they're not live. They are recorded. Are they?
No, they're minuted.
They're recorded for minuting.
Yeah, but
That
not
is,
live streamed.
Not
So,
live stream.
so I can go on to any live stream going back off of this, and I can see exactly what any councillor has said,
Mhm.
or what any member of the public has said on the minutes. Context and tone is lost in minutes.
Yeah, I agree. That would be a matter for that committee to vote upon. Can I just go back to the resignation side? I think we may have a crossed wire there, Wayne. I resigned from the planning committee, not from the council.
No, that's
As a
what I'm
council.
saying.
Ah, right, okay,
Yes,
sorry.
no. You refused initially the position of vice
Mhm.
or deputy chair, and resigned from the planning committee.
Yeah. On the matter of the vice chair, I'm going to say I was pretty much adopting, and Annette Meadows actually brought this up tonight, where she said about abstentions, and if you recall, I was pretty much saying I didn't want to do it. I didn't have all the table, I didn't have all the council with me, and that's what I was asking for. I was asking for support, and then Councillor Gorringe, Councillor Hughes made comments, and that was what swayed my mind.
Councillor Brocklehurst, I've got no issue with you being deputy of this council. That was not the point I was making. The point that I'm making is certain people, when they resign, they've resigned and they're out the door like a flash.
Mhm.
Other people that want to come back on the council that have resigned can't get back on the council. But you, in effect, refused the position, and I think was browbeaten into taking it, and I've got no objection to you being deputy chair. That's not the issue. And the resignation from the planning committee, if there's no double standards, you should not be back on the planning committee. That's my point.
Yeah. Personal opinion on that is the planning committee, if there was sufficient members, there was sufficient interest, and I think everybody has their own interest. There'll be some will be events, some will be planning, we have a cemetery committee, etc., etc. If you have a particular interest, obviously that's where you're going to focus your attention. And I think I may be speaking for everybody there. You're going to support the things that you really are keen and interested in to give your best. So I personally believe the planning committee does need that extra body. We saw that on Monday. There wasn't sufficient.
I don't disagree with that. But it's the double standards, and to me that shows. Like we talked about people not voting and abstaining, but there's another little thing going on behind Brandon Town Council that sees some people in and staying, and some people when they go they're out the door like a rocket, and never to be seen again. And I think that's wrong, and that gives me little confidence. Here tonight, and with that live stream, I'm confident that everybody is accountable. The planning meetings are not.
Councillor Kane.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's no obligation to live stream any planning meeting. There's no statutory requirement to do that, and that gives them extra work. If people have got an application and they're really keen on this application, you'll find 99 times out of 100 they will turn up. They will physically turn up at planning meeting. It's worked in the past and it will work in the future. Thank you, Chairman.
So why do we live stream this?
Well, because it's a bigger meeting, it's a longer meeting, it's a bigger thing, there's more interest.
Potentially, the planning meetings have got far more important things going on in them that affect a lot more people and last a lot longer.
And I think it's something that could be maybe mentioned to the planning committee, and it's for that committee to decide where they go.
So why is it just up to the committee? Why is it not up to the council?
The full council.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't. Is it full council?
No, it's always been a committee. Chairman, if I may, that's entirely up to the planning committee whether they want to be live streamed or not.
Yes, but why?
And because that's just inherently, that's how it's happened.
No, that's not good enough.
And the other thing is, the planning committee are asked for an opinion. The people who make the decisions about planning applications are West Suffolk. We are just an advisory group. That's all we do. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Can I add to that? That's not strictly the case, because the town council, the parish council, carry a fair bit of weight when it goes to council. Without going into detail, Councillor Brockhurst, you know where my concern is, and you know what's happened for whatever reason. I'm sure that'll come out in the wash, as you know.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, what has happened? I mean, you can't expect us to listen and talk about something that we don't know what has happened.
There was a planning application made, and it was discussed. It was rejected. We voted on it to not support the application, and then myself and another councillor, Councillor Pinnell, visited the site and had conversations, and we didn't know that what we were doing was wrong.
Right.
We have now found out that what we were doing was wrong, that we shouldn't have. We could visit, but we couldn't engage in dialogue.
Right, thank you.
So because we engaged in dialogue with the applicant.
Thank you. But it still comes down to the West Suffolk to say yes or no.
Yes. So.
Yes, can I ask if this gentleman here has a perfectly right to ask, if the town council is live streaming, surely if the planning committee should be accountable as well, and live streaming would be a way of making it accountable and for people to see what goes on. After all, your meetings are during the day for planning meetings, as I understand it. So not everybody is able to come during the day to planning meetings.
And it's the same people that are live streaming on as well.
Yeah.
And surely it should be, surely it should be down to the full council to decide what meetings are live streamed and which ones aren't.
I think what may be an idea is hopefully next month we'll have our chairman back. We've got a councillor off, he's had quite a serious accident, which is why Mick Malcolm's not here. I'm sure he won't mind him saying he's fallen over, went flat on his face, smashed his face, but he's broken both his arms. So he can't do anything, hence why he's not here. But he did say he will try and make next month. But maybe next month it might be something we can put on the agenda for a fuller discussion. If that would, is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Peter.
Does it take a long time to set this microphone, TV type camera up? Does it take a lot of time?
Jackie's
Really, it could
shaking
be
her head.
quite simple to...
Jackie's shaking her head and saying no. I know that it's tested and it can fail. It does need somebody to keep an eye on that. I think you get a message, do you? Somebody we've had messages in the past, haven't we?
Yeah, we don't
We've had messages in the past when it's failed, because it can fail while we're going out.
But
But it's easy to set up.
you hold the planning meeting here,
Mhm.
in this room, don't you?
No,
No, downstairs.
It's downstairs.
Well, we've done it.
CAB have it up here, don't
Yeah.
But whichever room you use, it would be complicated to use that
Mhm.
machinery.
Yeah.
So it's quite plausible to
Yeah.
Like
Well, as
that.
I've said, Peter, I'm more than happy to bring it to the table myself, mention it to the chairman, and we'll put it to the agenda for the next meeting, if that's a satisfactory conclusion there for this portion, please. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Anybody else, please? Christine? Or Chris? No. Sorry.
Chris is fine, thank you. I was talking to a visitor to Brandon today, and he said he's a complaint, he said, and this was because he walked from Santon Down to Brandon, and he could hardly use the public footpath on the north side of the river.
The riverbank walk, yeah.
I don't know whether this has been raised before. I personally haven't done that walk for a very long time. He said with his walking stick, the nettles were higher than him, and he had to part them and beat them down to continue on that path. And I said, well, all I could do was pass this on to there happened to be a council meeting tonight, and I could pass it on. I don't know which department will deal with something like
Yeah,
that.
I'm not sure, but I will take that one forward personally for you, because I do like to walk. It's the bridle path, the
Yeah,
new
they
bridle
did.
path.
With respect, this has been brought up at the Santon Down parish meetings, because it was started that it was to be made to be a bridle path. And if you go to the White Bridge in Santon Down, you'll see how they nicely started the steps down, which is all very, nice to begin
Nice
with,
in
and
the
it
centre.
doesn't last, does it? I checked it out myself, and it's absolutely horrendous.
You've done the walk from Santon to Brandon?
I've done it, yeah, I've done it, and with difficulty. And somebody's horse went in the river through it, and it is horrendous. If you go with a mountain bike, you have to lift it over obstacles. There's trees down. Nobody seems to want to take responsibility. They'd even put in the Horse and Hand, which is quite a big magazine, that it was an up and running bridle path, and that quickly had to be changed because it was false information. So whether they ran out of money or came to a border where actually we don't go any further, I don't know. But like I say,
Yeah.
I'll talk to Gary and maybe we can get that to
Yeah,
him.
we're both users, so
Yeah.
we'll...
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, walking is one of the things that people like, because it's lovely and flat and lots of
Yeah.
people can walk.
Yeah.
But, I've passed it on, as I've said I would, but I really didn't know which department dealt with something like that. So maybe something will be done about it.
Yeah, Councillor Carey?
Yeah, I think, Christine, I think parts of that are in Norfolk, and that doesn't help,
Yeah.
Of course,
halfway.
you're right, it's
and
that.
half of it is Norfolk, but
it crosses the
it is disappointing, and I think the Rivers Authority need to take responsibility for that. And it's in Parcel, you can't get down there without.
Generally speaking, we get some, at the hotel, we get some lovely comments about Brandon and what a friendly, really nice place it is to visit, and often they say we're coming back, and that's because it's such a nice area. So when you hear something like that, which I truly didn't know anything about, it doesn't sound as if it would take too much to put it right, but I've said what this gentleman said.
Thank you. Okay. Peter, yeah?
Like Sue Smith has just said, about the grass, etc. We pay a lot of money in council tax. We get a small bit for Brandon, which our town keepers do a marvellous job in doing what they're supposed to do, in keeping their bits of grass cut and hedges, etc., etc. But I go around Brandon like everybody else does. And, it's like a harvest field, the grass. You go along Thetford Road, it says welcome to Suffolk, welcome to Brandon on the corner of Green Road. And as soon as you come into Thetford Road, long grass on the left, long grass on the right, weeds in the road, potholes here and there. You know, it's not very good. We pay a lot of money in council tax and we're not getting good value for it. You
Nobody's
know,
getting
our
good
money's going
value,
to
Peter.
Ipswich and everywhere else.
Nobody's getting good value. It's not just Brandon. It's Lake and Heath, it's Mildenhall, it's places up north, south, east, wherever you go, everywhere. Everybody's saying the same. It's...
But it makes it
Yeah.
a deprived area.
It isn't right. It
No.
isn't right. Okay, so public forum, I think we're pretty much covered there. Everybody's had the opportunity for a good say. The correspondence, I know it wasn't printed, it's been online. There was an awful lot of it this month. Are you happy with it that we've read online, or would anybody like a quick run through on anything that's in there? You're all happy with taking it as read?
Well, you know, what do you do with these batteries then? You know, when you see these electronic things, it's got a wheelie bin with a line straight through it.
Yeah.
You can't put it in your...
Take it to Tesco's?
So what do you do with them?
Take it to
Yeah, these
Tesco's?
little batteries. These are big things. These are for these electric bikes. Yeah.
Scrapman will have them. The Scrapman will have that. You hear them going round all the time. Give them a shout out. I believe I'm not going to please everybody listening online. Don't go and flood them. I think Total Photography take batteries. There's lots of places. Do the schools do it? Do the schools do a recycle? No. I mean, that would be a good place, wouldn't it? If the safety aspect worked, that they could have a little drop-off bin there, and it made them a bit of money. But yeah, there are ways. It's a support act only. So we can. Other than that, Peter, anything else?
Yes.
Okay.
I know I'm a nuisance.
You are. Every other chairman says you're not. I'm going to say you are because everybody else says to do the same.
From a resident, windscreen damage. Right. Well, last Tuesday, I had to swap my hospital appointment, but I had a new windscreen put in.
Yeah.
Paid private, national windscreens, £350. Would normally go through the car insurance, which I did last year, but they put my insurance up 100% to just under £2,000, so it wasn't practical for me to go through the insurance. But I had one small stone on the passenger side, so a little hole. Then a few days later, another stone. You can't blame a particular firm, but all round here we have lorries that transport gravel, stone and everything else. You know, and there must be loads of people like myself and this person that's written, that's got windscreen damage, you know, and you know, you take your life in your own hands being behind a lorry that's transporting.
The law says they should be fully sheeted now.
That's right. That's
so
right.
if you see one that isn't sheeted, can I suggest that you
take the registration?
Yeah, and get in touch with the company. We have to take some responsibility ourselves for actions, and if there's things that are happening and we see vehicles not covered, get in touch with the owners and tell them. We can't rely on Big Brother all the time to be doing stuff. We have to be responsible for our own actions sometime. But point noted there, Pete. Anybody else on the correspondence? No, thank you. The accounts. To approve the payments for May 24, we need a proposer and a second, and we vote on this, please. We have a proposer, Paul Gorringe, Councillor Gorringe, Councillor Mechanic, and a vote, please. Unanimous. Thank you. to receive the income and expenditure pack against budget. You have that in your packs. That is information only. Is there any comments there before we move on? Thank you. Item 12 is 2 grant applications we have this evening. The first one, we have some rather nice ladies. Well, the first and the second one, we've got ladies to present, and we've got Glade School, I believe. Would you like to?
It was myself that did the application. I'm a governor that volunteers at Glade Campus. I'm not a paid employee. But these ladies run the breakfast club, and the application was for some money to go towards the breakfast club, which these ladies run for children. So they go to school, they go to breakfast club before school. It's open to all children. There's a lot of the children that go are children that are in receipt of EYPP, which is like early years pupil premium or pupil premium. It's also available for children who were having difficulty in getting to school and staying at school. So the retention now at school, now they've started at the breakfast club, has actually heightened. One young man has written in there. He's written, I love breakfast club because I used to struggle coming into school at normal times. So children will be late when now this breakfast club is offered. Children are actually coming in, they're getting something to eat, they're getting something in their tummies. They're then being allowed to play before they go into their lessons. It is a cost to school, but it doesn't cover very much. So the application was to be able to offer something different other than fruit and cereals and bread.
Yeah.
Something like fruit, which is more substantial and healthier for the children.
So the children have been saying to us, because we're making a book, and this book is purely from the children, they've been saying things to us like, because with the cost of living crisis and everything that we're still getting, we're still seeing it in the children, aren't we? Just basic things like, we provide like the cereal, we have to obviously watch our costs as well. Cereal, we're for like 3 or 4 selections, toast, jam, butter. We have children aged 4 years that they've never buttered a piece of toast, they've never washed up, they've never wiped up. We're seeing them come like, we can't do this, to when they leave, they're smiling, they're beaming up, we can't.
Just it's making relationships with the children, even like the relationships with the adults as well, isn't it? Less, you know, they're little safe morning and coming in.
I mean, it's very basic what we have. We just have a table, and obviously you can look at these photos a bit closer. It's just very basic what we've done. But the children have asked us if we can add more fruit, more juices, and obviously that kind of cost.
Yogurts.
Just spirals. So the money that we're sort of asking for would last hopefully a long time by getting those things for the children a little bit more. And just sort of helping them and getting some like little games and things, because Miss Brown here, she has actually out of her own money bought loads of little games and little toys for the children to do at breakfast club. We just sit and talk, we sing, we dance. We're quite an entertainment. The children said we should probably consult talent. But we just want to add more. We're providing fruit. We have about 20 children max at the moment, but we'd like more children to come, because I mean, you know, it's having a great impact on the children's education if they're not coming to school on time. And just that little bit in the morning, we are seeing such. I wish we could just bottle up their faces and sort of show you what it is doing, but
I mean, there is research as well that shows that if children have got food inside their tummies, they are going to learn more, they are going to retain more, their concentration, their behaviour, and then potentially their outcome for future life as adults is higher
you know, if they're offered these opportunities.
I can see in here you've said 35 children could attend or can attend. Could more? Could you, or is there more that need it? So 35 is actually just, it's just scratching.
It's a question mark. It is because we originally started this in 2021. We were taken on for that first year, and we didn't know how it was going to be. It's been such a success, and it's the nurture inside of it, and it's getting these children. We've got quite a few children in there that before this, they were so late for school, or they'd come in and they hadn't had food that, like, it's basic to us, getting up having your cereal. We don't think no more of it.
Yeah.
But it is the children that do not have this, and also the children that don't attend breakfast club that come in and haven't had that meal, that first, which is really important. We've got the provisions there to give them that.
Yeah.
So it's really required.
Absolutely. June.
Well, I'm just going to say you've got 35 children down. How many more do you think you could have?
Obviously, that would be
A
a
ratio.
ratio, and that because obviously the school pays for our wages,
Mm-hmm.
and that so if we get more, then we have to have more staff.
Yeah.
You know, we've got the room there, haven't we? So, you know, I can't really answer that.
No, that's okay. I just wondered if you had a number.
And some parents pay, so it's not like we're asking you to pay for it all.
Right.
It's just something so that they can offer extra food, they can buy activities,
Because that's the
rather
expense.
than these ladies having to pay for it. This is their paid job.
Okay.
You know, rather than out of their own pocket going around cabins
Okay.
picking up things.
Victor.
Back to the utensils.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, well, I'd like to thank you ladies for coming in and giving that presentation. I personally think it's a brilliant idea. And I don't think, I stand to be corrected, Jackie, but I don't think we've given Glade School a grant in the past. So in my
And it
opinion,
would be, although Glade Academy, it's an academy, this would be separate. This is separate. It's not going in the pot. It's just for breakfast. So everything will be itemised how it's spent. So it will be completely separate.
the request is £500. Have you any? I mean, it might be a difficult one for you to answer. Any idea how long you think that £500 will last for, or is that difficult?
Well, I hope it lasts at least a year.
At least a year.
Okay. But we don't, that's a big question mark again.
Yeah, well, so that's fine. You've given us a go. It's fine.
Yeah.
I think that's a brilliant idea, Chairman, and I would I'd propose the motion, and I'd be looking for a second, Chairman.
I'll
Okay,
second.
thank you. So we have a proposal from Councillor Cannick. Are you second, Vicky, or is that question?
No, I'll second it.
Seconded there.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, I think it's brilliant, and these youngsters need it. Disappointed you've only asked for £500. I've been leaning over and asking Jackie where the situation lies, but you have only filled in the 500 form.
Yeah, I did.
You need to fill in the 1,000 form, the above 500 form to be given more. I personally would like to defer this.
Why don't you put an amendment on it?
Can we put an amendment because it's only a 500 form?
Or put put an amendment to the substantive vote. They're going to vote.
So how
on-
much you want to give them?
I'd like to give them £1,000.
Right.
I agree. I'll second that.
I don't see no reason. These youngsters are, it's our future.
Well, of course they are.
This is needed in this town.
I just wish we could, with what we see and what we've seen, we can't explain it. We can't bubble it up with what.
Okay, well, if we vote on
No,
it.
it's been proposed, seconded, £1,000.
I don't know the rules. Does anybody know the rules on this particular form?
I'm not sure about the form, but I can tell you about the amendment. We vote on the amendment, we attach the amendment to substantive vote, and we vote again.
And the reason being, I've noticed it in the guidelines for grants, you can only come once a year. Okay, that's why I'm thinking you might not have enough. So I don't know. So this is a bit unheard of, and excuse me, everybody, because this is something I don't know, and Jackie wasn't sure. Victor's not answered. David, do you have any idea on this?
Just go for it.
I think actually you're doing it right. Just one question I'd like to ask. I think you'll probably get the grant tonight. How much it is, I don't know. First voted on. But I'd like you occasionally to come back and tell us a bit about how things are going on, how many people are going, and how well things are going. If you could do that, please.
Absolutely, we can email as well, can't we?
Okay.
I was going to just ask one question. The lady sitting directly in front, Sue, you nodded your head when I asked about this form.
I think because it comes down to procedure, whether you can vote it or not. I don't know procedure. Victor's just told you what it is.
This told us what to do, so we make what do we make it?
It's an amendment.
Right.
Vote for an amendment.
The amendment is to pay Glade School £1,000. We have a proposer, I think.
Yes, yeah.
And we have a seconder.
Yeah.
No, June's quite happy to propose.
Yeah.
Nicky seconded.
Yeah.
We vote.
So now we vote. All those in favour, please? Carried unanimous.
Carried.
And then we vote, we attach that to the substantive vote and vote on the substantive vote.
Okay, so do we need a proposal and second?
You have already proposed that.
Right, so Victor's proposed and seconded. So we're now voting on the substantive vote. All those in favour, please? Carried unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
There you go, ladies.
We will get the children to do a video because they actually asked if they'd come.
If you can do something that's allowed to be in public, I'm sure we can get that on the website.
Yeah, no, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
We didn't
Okay.
expect that, so thank you.
Thank you.
And they know that we're coming tonight, so they are again.
Make sure they get their wee bit.
Okay, our second application is for Brandon Festival. Sue?
Are you doing the vote all together?
Sorry?
No.
Oh, that was that was on their application. We're now dealing with yours.
Right.
This is item number 12 in your packs, everybody.
I'm Sue Smith, everybody, and I'm the treasurer of Brandon Festival. This will be our 5th Brandon Festival this year, in this incarnation. The Brandon Festival started way back in the 80s, when it used to be a week-long festival with all sorts of activities, a pram race around the pubs when there were a lot of pubs, a duck race, and all sorts of activities going on a week. This is a little bit more modest. We can only hold it one day a year, because obviously costs of everything have gone up and up and up. So this is our 5th Brandon Festival. Brandon's a very low income area, and we try to bring entertainment that people possibly can't always afford to go to, such as theatre, music and bands, and also circus acts. We always bring a circus act. We try to have entertainment for adults and children all day long. It goes on from 12 noon till 8 o'clock, so it's quite a packed programme. We try to bring the very best entertainment for all ages to enjoy. The local businesses have been very generous in the past, but we try not to apply to the same organisations each year. We do try to spread it out a little bit. Some make quite generous donations and some are much more modest. And that's one of the reasons why I don't list how much all the organisations have given us, because it's not a competition, because every little bit helps. But we bring singers and music and live bands, theatre and dance groups, and then our own circus act. And we have a tug-of-war competition that sees probably 300 plus people on the field cheering on the teams. So it's a real joint effort with lots of organisations in Brandon. We couldn't do it as one organisation. There are lots of organisations that are involved. And it's really this ethos of working together that brings success to our town. This all takes place on the Brandon Remembrance Playfield, and it's our very own precious green space. So we are, sorry, do you want me to go through the grant? We're asking for £1,071, and this is to cover.
Yeah, you don't need to list everything there, so everybody's got it, have they in your packs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the things on that list are all the things that we kind of need funding for to get us off the ground. We then are raising the rest of the money, as I say, through our own fundraising efforts. We have stalls on the market, we have, you know, the various events that go on through the year. We have stalls to try to generate our own income as well. So,
Okay.
so yeah, that's...
Any questions from around the table? Councillor Cannick.
Thank you, Chairman. This is a comment really, not a question. I'm not entirely happy with this application. I mean, this is an independent group of privateers. It's not a charity.
Sorry, we're not privateers. We're a community group.
Yeah, but you're not a charity.
No, we're not a charity.
Could I finish? Could I
Please.
finish?
Can we, sorry,
Can I
can we?
understand the comment?
Yeah.
We normally request a bank statement, which we haven't got, and our criteria is to give to non-profit groups. Now, in 2022, we gave them £1,000, and that year they had a surplus of £975. Now, surplus is a profit.
No.
So,
can I explain that?
Chairman, can I finish?
No, can he?
No, can I? With the greatest of respect.
Excuse me, the chair, please. Thank you. Victor, can you proceed there? You will get opportunity to come back and question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In 2023, we didn't contribute to the festival, but they still made a surplus of £378. They obviously didn't need our contribution last year. I mean, perhaps the same applies this year, I'm not sure. But just a quick word about their sponsors, their major sponsors, that's their words, major sponsors. They've got 5. I'm not going to mention who they are, they're in the pack. I think that the town council are perfectly entitled to know what sort of contribution is made by those 5 major sponsors. That's something which is important. That is something which is important to us.
It's in the accounts.
That's something which is important to us before we make a decision. I don't think there's enough detail on the application. I really don't. I think that basically what's happened is they haven't raised enough money, haven't been able to raise enough money this year, so that they've come to us for £1,000. I think £1,000 for one day down there, half a morning and half an afternoon, is poor value for money. And Mr. Chairman, I will not support the motion. Thank you.
Can I say
Okay.
it's 1,000
Yes, if
people?
you'd like to.
It's 1,000 people. That makes it £1 a head. £1 a head for the townsfolk of Brandon. We raised, in donations and sponsors, we raised £1,050 last year. Our fundraising goes beyond the August date for the festival because we fundraise right up to the end of October. So we do market stalls, we do Oktoberfest, and then we start again in the beginning of our financial year with the Christmas fair, and we always have a stall at the Christmas fair. So we're making as much money, so the money that we're making on our stalls, some of that is part of that £900 you said we made profit. We are continually fundraising. The money is coming in all the time. The money just doesn't come in a small window during the year. We fundraise from January to December, and we are continuously fundraising all of that time.
Okay. Any other questions, anybody?
Yeah, I do. I think you've got to look at these accounts here properly, which were quite well done. I mean, insurance is 500. What was it for 2023? It's £505. That's a huge amount of money to fundraise for. but you've got to have it in place to run these sort of places. So it's a big drain on funds, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chairman, if I may.
I was just reading, looking here. In the grant policies, Sue, there is a line at the bottom, and it says any grant not spent, you shouldn't be holding money over from the event
We
to.
never ever hold money over from any of the donors or people like Brandon Town Council or West Suffolk Council. That's always spent on the items that we put into our grant application. We only hold over money that we raise ourselves.
Right.
Chairman, if I may. One of our stipulations is if a community group comes forward, we have to request a bank statement. I stand to be corrected. There is no bank statement in the agenda. There's no balance sheet, there's no bank statement.
We haven't got any assets apart from the cash.
We normally request a current bank statement. That's never changed, Chair.
It is, yeah, it is in this.
Have a look at our constitution on grants.
It's in the policy there.
What does it say, Chairman?
All applications will be included with an up-to-date set of accounts, which we have, the organisation's constitutional rules, a copy of the organisation's bank statement.
Thank you,
The
Chairman.
council may request the application to make a presentation.
I
Which we
wasn't
don't.
asked for it.
Thank you, Chairman.
Okay. Anybody else with any questions, please? Okay. Do we have a proposer and a seconder for this?
Proposer.
Proposed by Councillor Palmer. Seconded.
I'm happy to second it. I think it's a great day.
Councillor Seaver is the second. So the vote is to give £1,000 grant to the Brandon Festival Committee. Sorry, Peter?
It's most probably a very good thing, but if you give this £1,000, we've only got £10,000. If you give this £1,000, that's 20% of the grant money gone on the first meeting of the grants that we have. So we'd only have 8,000. You know, you've just raised for the school, which is a good thing, 500 to 1,000. Perhaps we should only think about giving £500 for this particular item. Because don't forget, we've got another 11 months of other important and just as worthy causes to ask for money from the town council.
Yeah.
You know?
Anybody?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are you proposing, have you got a seconder for the £500?
Well, all right. I'll quote £500 and see if there's a seconder.
Can I just comment on that before you propose and second it? If you're going to reduce it to £500, could you reduce it to the amount of the insurance, please?
Okay.
Which we haven't had the renewal notice as yet.
Yeah. I'm not sure at the minute. There's not a lot of around the table, but I'm still also mindful that an organisation can only come once. If you was to come back to us after the event and you had a loss, would that make a difference to that? Sorry.
If we can't afford to pay the insurance, and
You can't do it.
we've already paid out of our own bank account our service entertainer. If we don't have those items with funding in place, we would have to cancel.
Okay, right. But please, I'm being guided by people around the table here. Anybody with any other? Nikki, you seconded it. Have you any?
If we can't go forward, I mean, even if we just cover the insurance, at least that way it's guaranteed to take place. But I do think it does help. I know from my family, we've always enjoyed Brandon Festival. Personally, honestly, I think it needs better advertising. but we do, as a family, we support it, and we've always supported it, and we think it's an amazing day.
Well, again, because we have to fundraise
Yep.
to fund the boards that we have printed. So at the moment we've got about 6 banners and 8 boards.
Cool.
So they all go up as soon as we can get. It's usually me that's screwing the boards in.
Okay. Anybody else down this side of the table?
I'm just a little confused. I thought you say, okay, you want us to sort of like find more out, so how do we vote on things?
Well, there's some more debate being offered here.
Chairman, if I could make a suggestion. If Councillor Ridgewell proposes £500, I will second it. And
Okay.
we can vote on that.
Can I suggest that what we do, Councillor Ridgewell, would you alter your proposal to cover the insurance?
Yeah, 550, yeah.
Whatever the insurance, if it's
Yes, it's
550,
550, yeah.
that's what. Okay, right. So we've got a proposer for 550, seconded by Councillor Lucanny. Are we all happy here now?
You can have a proposal for the first one as well.
Yes, we've got a proposal, so we've got a proposal and a seconder for the first motion of £1,000, and a proposer and a seconder for the motion to cover the insurance. So you will only be voting, I understand from what was said earlier, to avoid the confusion that we had earlier in the evening of so many for and so many against. You will only be voting on the motion that you want to pass. Is that the way it is? Is that how it is?
Has he got a second?
Yes, we have a proposer and a seconder for the £1,000. So can we take but if we take a vote on that and it
fails,
if it passes, then it doesn't go to the second motion.
Yeah.
So do you only have one vote? I don't know.
No, you can have 2 votes. You can have as many votes as you want. You can have as many amendments as you want.
Okay, so
Well, can I just ask, if we pay the insurance of £550, have you got the money for the rest of it? The licence, the first aid?
As yet, no. I've got pledges, but I haven't got the money. But if you're only going to consider 500, there is every chance that we won't be able to put the event on next year.
We won't be able to do it.
So this could well be the last
Yeah,
year.
but Chairman, if I may, if they get the 500, how I understand it, the event will go on this year, next month, but there's a risk of it next year.
there won't be sufficient funds at the end of the event. Is that right, Sue? There won't be sufficient funds at the end of the event to guarantee it going on the year after.
No, because there is a limited amount of income we can raise from our market stalls.
Okay. But that does mean, to me, it suggests that you would also then, you would need to come back next year and you would be asking for a similar amount next year. I'd rather see something put on a firm foot. I know you're trying to get to a firm footing, but I'd rather see something that's given that real big opportunity to get there. Is there any assistance that can be given to get you there that's not all monetary?
No, it is literally everything. There's a draft programme in place already. We know how much we're going to have to pay for most of our entertainment. It depends on the weather, because we can generate a little bit of income on the day, because we get donations from food stalls, etc. And that's where our surplus lies after the event.
Yeah.
But if it rains, we won't get any donations.
Yeah. On your food stalls there, can I just ask, what sort of finances do you get in from your food stalls?
Well, none of it is very great. It's somewhere between £30 and £35.
Can I suggest, I did the carnival a few years ago, in between festival, then we had carnival and we're at festival. We were down on that road of we couldn't we didn't want to charge the local people the businesses lots of money to come. But we ended up with the guy who brought a few of the rides, like the kids' roundabout stuff, he gave us 150 quid. The food people gave us 150 quid.
We won't get anything like that. Times are tough. Times are very tough for everybody. And that's the problem. The food stalls don't make the big money profits that they used to. Everybody is pulling back.
Yeah.
And you don't get those big
But
donations anymore.
Thank you, Chairman. When this community group set out, we understood that they needed a little bit of help from our staff and some of our equipment. The plan was never for us to finance half the thing. It's now morphed into the Brandon Town Council Festival, if you like.
Well, that's Brandon Town Council should be running it.
They were supposed
Please, just one at a time, please.
They were supposed to be a stand-alone community group. That has not been the case.
We've never said that.
Please, Sue,
We've
please.
never said that. Well, it's so
I know.
wrong.
Let him finish, and then I will ensure that he allows you to finish. Sorry for addressing you as let him. Sorry, Victor.
That's what we were led to believe, that they were going to generate their own income and they were going to run it themselves, and that was going to be a year up. They have come to us for a substantial amount of money. £1,000 for a half a day's event is an awful lot of money, and they've never come. And they've
please.
And they've never come.
Please let him get to the. He does stop. Victor stops eventually, and I will stop him if he goes too far. Right.
And
so.
they never come back after the event and give us a report on how the money was spent.
Okay, Sue. If you can remember what.
8 hours is a whole day. I don't know, I don't know what you think is half a day. 8 hours is a whole day, and most of the entertainers are there from 9 o'clock till gone 8 o'clock at night. So it's pretty full on. We have never said we were a standalone organisation. There is no way that you can put on a whole day's festival for over 1,000 people by being a standalone organisation. I actually said in my introduction, it's only by working together with all of these other organisations that we can make it work. And it really is working together. And sometimes battling against the council is the exception to the rule. Normally everybody is supportive and wants it to go ahead. We've had, in the previous years, we've been asked about why can't you fence it off? I'd be asking for £10,000 if we wanted to fence it off and charge people to get in. It's self-defeating.
It's not doing that, isn't it?
It's self-defeating.
Sue and Nia in front want to speak, and I know she's one of your committee members,
yes,
so we can allow her to speak.
I'm going to say I will declare that I'm a member of the Brandon Festival Committee. I let Sue do the talking, she's the treasurer. However, I would like to ask Victor, if I may, why he is anti such an event that is going to be put on for the benefit of Brandon at no cost to the people of Brandon. And surely it is the town council, that's why you come to the town council, to help support these events. It's up to the council to decide whether these events are worthwhile. That is the question that you have to ask yourselves. But I want to know why, particularly, Councillor Canning, a county and district councillor, is so anti an event that's been so popular over the years by a substantial number of people. Thank you.
If I can answer that, Chair.
Certainly.
Yes.
I'm definitely not anti-festival. I've already confirmed that I'm prepared to second a motion for £500, but the town council, right, does an enormous amount. We can't adopt every community, everything. We put the flags up, we put the Christmas lights up, right? We put the Christmas trees up. We do all sorts of things. We've done the D-Day thing. The list is continuous. We can't adopt every community group because they're having difficulty raising their money. That's how I see it. And I'll go back to the same thing, Mr. Chairman. We normally request a recent bank statement, which we have not had this evening.
Can I make a suggestion here? possibly before we move to vote, because I do see us not going very far. I notice in your accounts for both years, you have nothing from West Suffolk District Council. Could I suggest that you
No,
maybe...
that's still in there because I think the previous year, when David Palmer was a West Suffolk councillor, we had a little bit of locality money.
Okay.
So there is still a line in there.
Yeah, and so bearing in mind the limited funds that we have, could I suggest that we go with Councillor Ridgewell's proposal for the 550, which we have a seconder for, and I've just been given a little bit of a nod that one of the district councillors will be prepared to use some of their locality for you. Okay, so could we move to that, but we need to vote on both, I think. So on the first item, the Brandon Festival, for £1,000, those in favour, please. We have 3, 4. Those against. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. It would then normally go to the chairman's one, but I think in light of Councillor Savage's one, can we go to the insurance one of Councillor Ridgewell's proposition for 550? Those in favour of the 550, please. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Is this instead of or?
Instead of.
So we're wiping £1,000 off the table?
So, no, it's for the, and Jules is going to...
Yes, but the £1,000 is gone?
Yes.
Of course, we only owe.
Right, so we have 8. David, is you...
Well, you just told us we can't vote for both.
No, we did say we would have to vote for both, sorry. So we're now going for the second one.
I was confused too.
So we now have a unanimous vote for their 550, and Councillor Savage is also going to... We need to...
Yes.
Are we there now, everybody?
Do you still want a bank statement?
I think it may be needed for records, Jackie.
I can send one.
Yes, for records, please.
Thank you very much.
Councillor Canning.
And if they write to me and request some funds for the festival, I'm prepared to contribute a small amount through my West Suffolk locality.
I've already done that, but you
I haven't seen it, Susan.
Okay, right. We got there. The festival is going to happen, and thank you to the festival committee for what you do. Right, over. Where are we now? Grant application. So we now have item number 13 to amend the grant policy. This is item 13 in your pack. In the procedure, which is the second block section, I think it's highlighted in yellow. We think that there was a typo was made some years back, and it says the closing date for all applications is the 15th of May and the 15th of November each year, when it should actually read the closing date is for all applications, and the office has asked that that date becomes the first Monday of every month. So rather than the 15th, so there's 2 alterations to it. So it will read the closing date for all applications is the first Monday of every month. And we need a proposer and a seconder for that, please, if you are all happy that we alter that. Yeah, proposed Councillor Cannock, seconded Councillor Siebert, and a vote on that, please. Unanimous, carried. Thank you. Right. Item 14, to note the minutes of the Events Committee meeting of the 16th of May. That's item 14 in your packs. It is for information only. Item 15 to note the minutes of the planning committee on the 3rd of June.
I got that wrong, haven't I?
Yeah, no, it's just because I just realised that every time I email you guys with my Gmail account, it bounces back to me, which is why you didn't receive my letters.
So yes, so the minutes of the planning committee on the 3rd of June is to note those. Item 16 is to appoint more members to the planning committee. This I need to hand over to one of the current members to report back on the situation as per the last meeting. So that would be Henry Victor David. Victor, you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Victor,
Yeah,
please.
we were, thank you, Mr. Chairman, we were short on staff on the last planning committee meeting. It happens, you know, it happens. I've been to places like Norfolk and Norfolk Planning, and they weren't core and they couldn't conduct the business, so we need at least one additional person, and I suggest that we put Councillor Gary Brocklehurst forward to join the planning committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Is there anybody else that isn't currently on planning that would like to? And bear in mind we have 2 vacancies on the council and they may show an interest in planning themselves.
I was on planning before and I was willing to go back. If no one else does, I'll make the number up.
Yeah. Well, to make the number, do you want to hold it for those 2 places?
I think
for any further?
June makes a good point, but she will be busy because you're on the new cemetery committee as well, June. So we wouldn't want to stretch your resources.
But I think it gives your committee the numbers there.
Well,
that as soon as you've got
we've got 5 now, haven't we?
Yeah.
So I think for now that's enough, June.
Shout if you need.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, and if the 2 new councillors show any...
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
We do need to vote on that, I'm told.
And I'll propose, Chairman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seconded by Paul Gorringe. And a vote please to place me on the planning committee. I'm told I can vote for it. Everybody unanimous. Thank you everybody. So that's hopefully that has that committee working and quorum. We need to appoint members for Brandon Town Council Committee working parties. This one wasn't adopted at the annual Town Council meeting because Malcolm Pennell, I'm not sure whether Malcolm was chairing that committee, but he wasn't here, and I think we had somebody else missing, so we didn't do that review committee, and we've since had Councillor Etherington has resigned, so that committee only has 3 people. There has been, do we need it for the Revenue Review Committee? Do we not need the committee? Please, discussion. Victor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, I mean, I've spoken to several people and there doesn't seem to be much appetite for Revenue Review Committee. So my suggestion is, and I'm only one person, that we scrap the Revenue Review Committee, and we've got plenty of committees at the moment in the Town Council, so I don't think it's going to be very effective to have that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I think I'm backing Victor on that one. I think if there's something there and a council sees a revenue stream, you're going to bring it to the table anyway, aren't we? But we now need to. There's no other comments there. We need to vote on whether we have to vote on whether we keep that committee or.
What's the vote? Is it do we scrap it, or do we? What is the vote? We don't think we need to vote on it personally, but I don't know.
Or
if we're not having that committee.
If it's not appointed, if you've got no members appointed,
Yeah.
do you just keep the committee and have no members appointed to it?
I'll propose that I'll make a proposal, Chairman, and I'll propose that we discard, we eliminate the Revenue Committee, Chairman.
Okay.
I will propose. Do I have a seconder?
Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Ridgewell. So yeah, any other comments? We have a proposal and a second to discard the Revenue Review Committee. Can we take a vote? All those in favour, please? Yeah, unanimous. At this point in the meeting, this is the bit Phil puts his teeth in for, isn't it? The resolution to exclude the public and press pursuant to the Public Bodies Admission to Meetings Act of 1960, that the public and press be excluded from the meeting due to the confidential nature of the business to be discussed concerning quotes, land, staff and contract. Proposal, please. Councillor Cannock, seconded. Councillor Siebert, those please in favour? Thank you. I'd like to thank all the public for attending tonight.
Thank you.
A quick toilet break for anybody?
Definitely. I've been buffing for ages.
Queue up, queue up.
David? Green one, please.
Green one.
There is one.
You can have my green one.
I'll still have a green one.
Well, there isn't.
There's two more.
There is a
isn't there?
bigger
Yeah, that's
one.
going to go now.
Bigger one. There is a double. They're all green, aren't they?
Yeah. Much nicer.
I know.
You're welcome.
I'm absolutely
Take
agree
care.
with you there. I could,
Isn't
You're welcome. Take care.